Have you ever wondered what kind of storm is born inside a child who watches his mother die right in front of his eyes? Imagine a killer, one who turns his victims into snowmen after killing them. Every falling snowflake like it's hiding a secret. This story, soaked in fear and suspense, will grip you till the very last moment. So who is this psycho killer? Let's begin. A thick white blanket of snow covers everything, so silent that even the quiet feels loud. In this isolation stands a small house, home to just two people, little Luke and his mother, Clara. There's no one else for miles, just the two of them. But behind this silence hides a fear you can't see, only feel. And that fear is John, Luke's father. Today, John has returned home after many days. The moment Luke sees him, his eyes light up. After all, his father has brought plenty of food and supplies. For Luke, it feels like a celebration. John makes him sit down and starts teaching him. From a distance, Clara watches. On the surface, they look like a happy family. But the truth? It's the complete opposite, and it's brutal. John isn't a father, he's an executioner. The moment Luke makes even the smallest mistake in his studies, the punishment doesn't fall on him. It falls on Clara. For one wrong answer, John's hand strikes Clara's face hard. Luke's eyes widen in terror. He watches everything happen, helpless, unable to do anything. And John, he doesn't feel an ounce of remorse. After a while, this horrifying lesson ends. John sends Luke outside to play and takes Clara into the room. He says, "We have something important to do." Outside, Luke feels uneasy. His heart races. He knows something is wrong inside. Finally, he sneaks to the window and looks in. What he sees, he doesn't fully understand, but he knows one thing: something is terribly wrong. Then, John notices Luke at the window. His eyes flare with rage. He hates being watched. In anger, he makes a decision. He's going to leave them forever, he shouts. "You'll never see me again." And just like that, he leaves. Forever, Clara shatters. John was her entire world. With him gone, it's like nothing inside her remains. Without thinking, she puts Luke in the car and drives after John. She screams, cries, begs, but John doesn't look back even once. And when all hope is gone, Clara's mind breaks too. She speeds up the car and lets go of the steering wheel. The car heads straight toward a frozen lake. Luke panics. "Mom, what are you doing?" But Clara is lost in another world. At the last second, Luke pulls the handbrake with all his strength. The car stops, right in the middle of the frozen lake. Luke jumps out. He tries to save his mother. He cries, screams, "Mom, come out. The ice can break any time." But Clara just sits there, still, empty, as if nothing matters anymore. Luke pleads, "Mom, I'll be alone. Please come out." But for Clara, losing John had become a pain greater than losing her own child. And then, the ice, that once felt solid, starts to crack. Within moments, the lake turns into a death trap. Luke watches helplessly as his mother sinks beneath the ice. All that remains are his screams. Time passes, but along with the snow, the mystery deepens. Now enters Raquel, an ordinary woman, but today isn't an ordinary day. While returning from work, she feels like a red car is following her. For a long time, it stays behind her. Panicked, Raquel stops her car, but the red car just drives past her. She tries to calm herself. Maybe it was just my imagination. At home, she meets her daughter and husband. A brief moment of comfort, but not for long. Her husband leaves for night duty. Now it's just Raquel and her young daughter. Midnight, suddenly, a snowball hits the window. Raquel is startled. She angrily opens the window, but there's no one outside. Then her eyes drift further. Under a tree, the same red car is parked, and right beside it, a freshly made snowman. In the darkness, it feels like it's staring right at her. The next morning, when her daughter wakes up, the house is silent. Raquel is gone. And now enter Detective Harry, a man who looks broken on the outside, lost in alcohol and cigarettes, but his mind, sharp like a blade. Everyone in the department respects his ability. Today he meets Catherine, a new recruit. At first, she throws a bit of sarcasm his way, but soon she realizes this man, as messy as he looks, is dangerously intelligent. Now the question is, are all these incidents connected? And the biggest question, has that innocent boy Luke become the snowman killer? Or is there someone else behind all this snow? The story isn't over yet. The real game has just begun. On their way, Harry and Catherine receive the news. Raquel is missing. Without wasting a second, Harry heads straight to the scene. The moment he steps inside the house, he feels something strange. An eerie silence, like the walls themselves are hiding something. He talks to little Johnson. Frightened, trembling, slowly, she begins to reveal the truth. It turns out, things inside that house were far from normal. Raquel and her husband were constantly fighting, and in the middle of it all, their little daughter was losing her childhood. Meanwhile, when Catherine questions the neighbors, she hears the same story again. Arguments, screaming, and a broken home. But the real shock was still coming. One small mistake, and the story takes a major turn. Harry accidentally brings home one of Catherine's old case files. The moment he opens it, he's stunned. The case was 9 years old. A woman had been murdered, her body found in the snow, in a horrifying condition. Harry's eyes narrow. He immediately understands. This is no ordinary case. As he digs deeper, layer after layer begins to unfold. It wasn't just one murder. Over the past few years, 3 more women were killed in the exact same brutal way. And at every crime scene, there was one thing in common: a snowman. That was standing outside Raquel's house. Now things are clear. The threat is far bigger than it first appeared. One thought echoes in Harry's mind: an old hunter is back. But just as he's processing this truth, another emergency message comes in. Cynthia is missing. The suspense deepens even further. As soon as she hears the news, Catherine jumps into her car and speeds towards Cynthia's isolated house on the edge of the city. When she gets there, something feels off. Cynthia is home. Everything seems completely normal. Catherine pauses for a moment and thinks, was this some kind of prank on the police? But the story isn't that simple. On her way back, she receives the same message again. A missing person report for Cynthia has just been filed. Now Catherine is genuinely shaken. She immediately heads to the address where the report was filed, and there she sees another Cynthia. In reality, it was her twin sister, terrified, crying, desperately searching for her sibling. Now only one question is spinning in Catherine's mind. If the real sister is here, then who did I just meet? Without wasting a second, she rushes back to the house. But this time, she's too late. The scene inside is enough to shake anyone to their core. Cynthia's body, lying on the floor, headless, her own pet chickens pecking at her remains. The blood is still fresh, which means the killer is still somewhere nearby. Harry immediately takes action. He heads to the back of the house, where fresh footprints are clearly visible in the snow. But then, his eyes fall on something that would freeze anyone in place. There stands a snowman. But this time, it doesn't have a snowball for a head. Instead, Cynthia's severed head has been placed on top of it. This sight shakes the entire police department. Now Harry is certain this isn't the work of an ordinary criminal. This is a calculating, psychopathic killer. Harry immediately demands a special task force from his superiors. At first, they hesitate. But when he describes the sheer brutality of the murders, they have no choice but to agree. The investigation intensifies. Harry reopens the 9-year-old Layla murder case, the very first link in this chain. During this process, he comes face to face with Dr. Ader, the same doctor who had been treating both Cynthia and Raquel. The doctor refuses to share anything, but Harry's instincts are sharp. He can tell the doctor is hiding something. Late at night, lost in files and records, Harry finds a major lead. Dr. Ader is connected to a powerful businessman in the city. And years ago, that businessman partnered with a man named Frederick to buy a company. But the real shock is still ahead. Frederick's wife was none other than Lila, the same woman who was murdered 9 years ago. Now all the pieces are slowly coming together. Harry goes straight to Frederick. During their conversation, Frederick reveals an old secret. He says, after his wife's murder, a stubborn detective named Raft was deeply involved in the case. He had come dangerously close to the truth. But then, one day, his body was found in his own garage. The police ruled it a suicide. Case closed. But Frederick is convinced a man like Raft would never give up like that. And right here, the story takes another turn. Harry begins digging into Raft's life. And then, he discovers a truth that changes everything. Raft had a daughter. Her name, Catherine. Yes, the same Catherine, who has been working alongside Harry this entire time. Now everything makes sense. Catherine isn't just a detective, she's personally connected to this case. Wearing that badge, she was actually chasing her father's killer. Every move she made, every decision, was driven by one purpose: justice. Now the question is, will Harry and Catherine be able to catch this psychopathic killer? Or is the truth even darker than they imagined? Or is this killer hiding in the snow, about to create another snowman? The story has now reached its most dangerous turning point. Suddenly, a new update shakes everything. Raquel's phone signal is traced near Dr. Ader's house. Without informing anyone, Catherine heads there alone. The moment she steps inside, an eerie silence surrounds her, as if a storm has just passed through, or is about to arrive. Slowly, she moves toward the garage, and the second she looks inside, her soul trembles. Dr. Ader is sitting in a chair, but his head is missing, the same horrifying scene she had once witnessed with her own father. The department quickly moves to close the case. According to them, Dr. Ader killed Raquel and then took his own life. Case closed. But it doesn't end there. Catherine is accused of conducting an unauthorized investigation, of hiding evidence, and she is suspended. She breaks down, but deep inside, she knows this is all part of the same killer's plan, the same one who took her father's life. Harry stands by her and promises, "I will bring the truth out." But Catherine is no longer willing to wait. She sets a trap. She calls a suspect to meet her, alone. Fully prepared, she waits in the room. But what she doesn't know is the hunter is already 2 steps ahead. The killer was already there. Catherine strikes but fails, and then that monster takes her life. Not just that, he cuts off her finger and erases all the evidence from her laptop. The next morning, when Harry wakes up, he looks out the window and freezes. Below, Catherine's car is parked, and on top of it, a horrifying snowman. Inside that snow figure, Catherine's body is hidden. The killer has made his biggest move. Now, Harry is completely alone. Through the snowman, the killer sends a direct message. "Back off, or you're next." Harry opens Catherine's laptop, but there's nothing there. Just emptiness. The killer has erased every digital trace. Now Harry has nothing left to lose. He starts reconnecting every clue. During this process, he meets Raquel's husband, Phillips. In the conversation, Phillips mentions a name. Dr. Head. The moment Harry hears it, the ground beneath him feels like it's gone, because Dr. Head is none other than his ex-wife's current husband. Harry secretly breaks into his house and searches the place. What he finds is chilling. Several files, several names of women who had gone missing or were already dead, and among them, Angel, which means the next target has already been chosen. Harry immediately pulls up Dr. Head's full background, and then a truth emerges that connects everything. Dr. Head's real name was Luke, the same Luke who, as a child, watched his mother drown in that frozen lake. Without wasting a second, Harry rushes to that same abandoned house, where it all began. What he sees inside is horrifying. Luke, standing with a knife against Angel's throat, and nearby, Harry's own son, shaking in fear. To save his loved ones, Harry throws away his gun. Now, Luke speaks. There's pain in his voice, and madness too. He says, "The reason for my hatred was my own mother." He calls her selfish, because for her love for her husband mattered more than her child. That day, when she left him alone, something inside Luke died, and a monster was born. He swore he would punish every mother who chose her own world over her children. Harry keeps him talking, waiting for the right moment, and suddenly attacks him. A brutal fight breaks out. Luke tries to escape and disappears into the darkness. Then, a gunshot echoes. Harry's shoulder bursts with blood. Luke thinks he's killed him. He walks forward with a victorious smile. But he forgets one thing. That same lake, that same ice, where his mother died, the ice beneath him, was dangerously thin. The moment he steps forward, it cracks. Luke, slowly, begins to sink into the cold, dark depths. Harry could have saved him. All he had to do was reach out his hand. But he doesn't. Maybe he believed this was the fate Luke deserved for the pain he caused innocent lives. And then everything falls silent. The deadly game in the snow is finally over. Harry, bleeding, broken, embraces his family. Justice has been served, but beneath that white snow, many secrets are buried forever. So tell me, what did you think of this story? Was Luke a victim of circumstances or someone destined to become a killer? Share your thoughts. If you liked the story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more suspense and thriller stories. See you in the next one.